It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
And remember, he played his best games against BYU and UNC, and of course the signature win on this field, last time on this field against Clemson.
Important for Notre Dame to get off to a good start here after that second half, and Navy look for a good mix of run and pass early on in this game.
Logan Diggs starts as the running back. Give does go to Diggs, and a huge hole is opened up straight up the middle. Diggs with a stiff arm and well into BC territory inside the 25-yard line before DeBerry finally drags him to the ground.
That's the kind of start the Irish were looking for. It's pretty simple. Here we go. One more time. It's a play they've seen all year long. The guys in the blue shirts controlling the line of scrimmage. It's a downhill run. Notre Dame does it better than anybody in the country, and an unbelievable start for the Irish on this cold South Bend Saturday afternoon.
A gain of 51 on the very first play. All right, flip it ahead. It's Michael Mayer who's trying to gain the edge and does. So just trying to get 87 the football. That's an easy way to do it. Here's the players to watch today. Jason Garrett, how do you see it?
Let's start with that guy right there. They get him the ball a ton of different ways. Running a fly sweep. Michael Mayer's as good as it gets. Jared Patterson, the senior left guard, All-American center last year, made the transition. He's the cornerstone up front for BC. Marcus Valdez, they call him the RoboCop, playing through some injury, as is Josh DeBerry on the back end. Two outstanding players for the Eagles.
Players to watch, presented by Under Armour. There is Salerno in motion. Give goes to Logan Diggs, and he will pick up 4 straight up the middle.
This is what Notre Dame wants to do when they've played their best football. They've been able to run the ball, and then the success they've had in the passing game comes off of that. Last week against Navy, a lot of blitzes early stifled their run game, and they made some plays in the passing game. This is the kind of football they want to play. Drew Pine plays much better, like most quarterbacks, in a complementary role.
Pine on the roll, had a wide receiver, Matt Salerno, and sailed it straight past him.
There it is. Pressure, pressure, and more pressure. That's what Navy did last week, and it got home all throughout the second half. You see the edge players here for Boston College coming off the edge. It gives you a free opportunity. A little pressure in Drew Pine's face. He missed the throw. He's capable of making it. Now they find themselves in a 3rd and 6.
So they'll empty things out for Drew Pine here before motioning Logan Diggs into the backfield. Pine, clean drop and fires, and that is looking for Lorenzo Styles, but it's a low pass that really never had a chance from Drew Pine.
Okay, pressure one more time, and man-to-man coverage on the back end. Here it comes off of this side. It's got Styles on a corner route, and a good look at how this weather might impact the ability to throw the football today. Hard for Drew Pine to drive the ball into the corner of the end zone like he did there. Good job by BC's defense stepping up and holding the Irish to a field goal.
So here comes Blake Groupie. He's 10 for 15. Strong start to the year and trying to get himself back on track. Straight through the middle goes Groupie. So it's Logan Diggs on the first play that sets up the Irish for 3. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Under Armour. The only way is through. By Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And by Gillette, the best a man can get. How about these shots? Snow-covered South Bend. Look into the grotto there as snow hangs from all of those trees. It is a beautiful sight. How about flying in here, too, seeing this place from above? There's nothing quite like it when the snow's falling.
Jack, those pictures were incredible. Chuck Danmeyer, our director down there, lighting them up for us. Gonna send me a couple of those selfies, Chucky.
Yeah. And already seeing the wind factor. You know, there was wind to deal with against Clemson in the last home game as well. Similar winds, about 18, 19 miles per hour. But it gets gusty at moments as well. And that Logan Diggs 51-yard rush to open up the game, the longest run of the season for Notre Dame, results in 3 points. Here's Zach Yoakum, send it deep, and it's Jalen Gill who steps underneath it with space in front. Takes it across the 30, and here goes Gill across the 40, across the 45-yard line before he's finally brought down by Tariq Bracy out there playing special teams. That'll set up BC nicely on offense.
Jack, we saw the impact of the weather on the throw by Palm. We also saw it on the kickoff. He couldn't get depth on it. A wall was set up. Gill found it on the left-hand side. Looks like we have a holding penalty on BC, which is a huge penalty. It's much more than just one of these, hey, it's a 10-yard penalty. It's a 30 or 40-yard penalty after a return like that. Killing the Eagles. Take a look at it on the top of the screen. I don't think there's any doubt when that blue cloth stretches and you have your hands outside, they're going to call it every time. But it's a killer penalty. It literally is a 30 or 40-yard penalty when you have a return like that. BC starts again in the shadow of their own goalpost.
Here's Emmett Moorhead, third career start in college football, and he wants to go deep early. And this pass is broken up, yet Benjamin Morrison back there in coverage as he's trying to find Griffin, his wide receiver. So for Moorhead, third career start, just mentioned. Before that, his last start was his junior year of high school, and he took over for Phil Jerkovic, of course, the Notre Dame transfer, week 9 when he was injured. 7 touchdowns, 2 picks as a starter, so he's been playing pretty well. Tall guy back there. He can move a little bit. Mobility really not his game, but every once in a while he takes off and he can open your eyes. Garwo, the running back, beside him. And this pass is low, looking for Zay Flowers, and 0 for 2 to begin inside Notre Dame Stadium.
And again, I think we're seeing the effects of this 25-degree temperature and this swirling wind here at Notre Dame. It's going to be hard to throw the football today. Important for these quarterbacks to spin it. If you can spin the ball out of your hand, it's going to cut the weather that much better. Both guys have arm enough to do it. They just got to be consistent. That ball coming out of their hand. They find themselves in a 3rd and 10. Looks like Notre Dame's going to play some man-to-man coverage.
Irish bring the heat, and BC trying to pick it up. They do, and now this pass is intercepted. It's Benjamin Morrison. A couple interceptions to his name against Clemson. Of course, the pick 6. Now he returns home against Boston College, and he steals away another one. It was Xavier Watts forcing the pressure for Notre Dame defensively.
Hey, we talked about BC's defense blitzing Notre Dame. It's been the same case for Boston College's offense. They've struggled handling the pressure. The freshman quarterback felt pressure on his left-hand side. Ill-advised, throwing the ball late outside. And you said it, Benjamin Morrison has been a playmaker. The freshman, look at the change of direction. When he wants to drive on the ball, he goes from point A to point B quickly, and he's one of those DBs that makes you pay because he can catch the ball. Notre Dame's knocking on the door.
Irish take over at the 20. Here goes Logan Diggs, and he battles forward for a gain of 5 on a first down carry.
And this is what Notre Dame needs to do. This is when Notre Dame plays their best football. Tommy Rees has done an outstanding job being patient with the run game throughout the year. He can't get bored today. Keep hammering these guys north and south. They're stronger and bigger up front. They're a more physical football team. Wear them out, particularly when it's the tough weather conditions that we're all dealing with today.
Pine hands it off. Here goes Logan Diggs. Another nice hole opened up, and he takes it down to the 6-yard line.
Jack, Notre Dame does such a good job mixing up these north and south runs. Okay, it's just right off the right-hand side. Splash a little water by bringing Salerno, the receiver, back across the formation. It captures the linebacker's eyes, but the story's told by the blue shirts knocking the white shirts off the ball. They've done it awfully well so far in this ball game.
Couple tight ends in the game for Notre Dame. Pine hands it off. Here goes Diggs. And Diggs takes it inside the 5 and down to about the 2-yard line.
Jack, you say, hey, that's a 3-yard gain. But a 3-yard gain from the 5 to the 2 in the red zone, those are tough yards down there. And again, this is when they're best. Go fast, hammer them north and south.
Irish straight up and on the ball. Here goes Logan Diggs trying to push that pile forward and pushes it to the 1. 3rd and goal.
The issue is the BC knows what this is when Notre Dame's their best as well. So when they go quickly, they pile the line of scrimmage, do a good job playing underneath the Notre Dame offensive line and creating a little bit of a stalemate. 3rd and 1, no doubt it's 4-down territory for Marcus Freeman here.
3 tight ends into the game. Pine hands it off one more time. It's stuffed initially is Logan Diggs and then fights his way in for the touchdown.
Jack, you described it perfectly. BC stifles them early because they're underneath. They win the leverage battle at the line of scrimmage. The Gold Hats are pushing forward, but Diggs does not stop. He keeps the legs moving. Look at Drew Pine at the end of it. Michael Mayer pushing him across. We look at it right down the line. The question will be, was the knee down before the ball crossed? Was the butt down before the ball crossed?
That play is under further review.
If we look at it from down the line one more time, that's probably our best look at it. And when does that left cheek come down? It's down. It's awfully close.
Sure is.
I think that's hard to overturn, Terry McCauley. What do you think?
Jason, it looks short to me. When that body part hits, the ball just is. We see the forearm breaking the plane. I don't see the ball breaking the plane.
What's the language you use?
It's got to be indisputable.
Indisputable, clear and decisive? Huh.
I'm seeing it indisputably short on my screen.
Oh,
Let's
yeah?
put it that way. I've got it frozen, so let's see what our guys can do with it.
I do think if it's short, it'll be inches, and Marcus Freeman will go for it. But your point's well made.
Right there.
That's it. That's the shot.
What do you think? About an inch short there, Terry?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2
Let's
inches?
go 2.
Okay. I'll buy it.
The second effort was outstanding. Diggs keeps it alive. Loved how Pine got involved. Mayer got involved trying to drive him into the end zone. And again, I think it's 4-down territory before the 3rd down play.
Touchdown.
All right, Jason Garrett.
Go ahead, Terry McCauley.
Some of that.
I don't agree. Let's put it that way.
Terry, he finally got you. You've been on the road all year.
I know.
Hey, he owed you one.
He earned one.
He sure did. He earned one.
The definition of indisputable is what replay is all about. Terry, what do you think?
So here comes Blake Groupie on for the extra point to give Notre Dame a 10-0 lead before the 10-minute mark in this first quarter.
Huge play on 3rd down. Ben Morrison coming up big one more time for the Irish. Logan Diggs pays it off. Irish leading 7-0.
Cody!
Hi.
How
And aerial coverage is presented by Geico. Snow-covered Notre Dame campus in the Golden Dome. Looking good on a Saturday afternoon. So too are the Irish. They lead 10-zip over Boston College.
Jack, it's so much fun to come here in the fall when the leaves are turning, and then come in the winter when the snow falls. Beautiful shots all day long. Fun to be here.
So Zach Yoakum sent it deep, and there was a big return by Jalen Gill that was knocked out by the penalty in this. Another penalty as it scoots out about a half yard before going into the end zone.
Kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Really good poise by Jalen Gill at the end of that thing. It's an oblong football, and it bounces a lot of different ways. He took the chance. Ball bounced in BC's favor. Going out of bounds gives them awfully good field position at the 35.
So here is Emmett Moorhead. We told you some about him. So he's a California kid. He goes to high school, though, in Alexandria, Virginia. 3-star recruit. Didn't even get to play his senior year, as that was 2020. Athletic parents he has, though. Dad known for football and crew. His mom, she's 6'1", basketball player. And those are the numbers in those first couple of starts. Here goes the run game, and it's Alex Broom moving straight ahead.
His parents, Dan and Devin, were classmates of mine in college. Both really, really good athletes, and I believe in a gene pool. He's got it. He's a big athletic guy who can really throw it. And despite the start he's had today, he's played awfully well and has matured beyond his years. It'll be important for Boston College to run the ball and take some of the burden off of him as this game goes on. It has not been their strong suit all year.
Now Moorhead, and that is batted up into the air, threw it directly through traffic, and you see Maris Leofow saying, yep, I got a hand on that one to set up a third down.
This is one of those RPOs, a run-pass option. He didn't like the run. Moorhead getting the ball out. Hits Leofow right in the head. Fortunate for BC, doesn't land in the arms of a waiting Notre Dame secondary player. 3rd and 6 here. Notre Dame brought pressure on the last third down, causing an interception. They're showing it right here.
Show pressure, bring pressure. Moorhead trying to step up and through it, and now he is spun down. That is Tariq Bracey, who is there to make the stop along with J.D. Bertrand. 4th down upcoming. So here comes the SWAT team of the Irish. Brian Mason, special teams coordinator. They have been amazing. The block party, the 7 blocked punts, 5 consecutive games with a block punt, and 6 different players to do it. It's Danny Longman back deep to face that rush. When he gets it away, it's a high punt that's drifting inside the 20-yard line, and Matt Salerno calls for a fair catch right there. It's been all Irish to start. 10-0 over Boston College. So it's another fast start for Notre Dame. And remember, last week against Navy, explode out of the gates. 5 touchdowns on the first 6 possessions for Drew Pine. He was on fire. 4 passing touchdowns, another one on the ground. So Notre Dame led huge at the half. And then the second half showed up and a whole lot of nothing. 0 points on 6 possessions. That's what they did, only 12 net yards. So trying to play a full game this afternoon. Audric Estime begins in the pistol. He gets the football, trying the left side of that offensive line, and picks up just a few.
Hey, Jack, getting back to the game from last week, I don't know that I've ever seen a game where the performance was as drastically different from one half to the other. Notre Dame was literally at their best throughout the whole first half, 35 points, and they were disastrous in the second half. And the easy explanation is, hey, Navy just blitzed them in the second half. They couldn't handle it. 3 of the touchdowns early in the game were against all-out pressure, and they handled it beautifully. They just couldn't get themselves started in the second half. Notre Dame changed the momentum here early on in this ball game.
Here's Pine, and Pine has a wide receiver. That's complete to Jaden Thomas, and he was the leading receiver last week with a career-high 80 yards and 1 touchdown. So this is the Grip on the Game, brought to you by TireRack.com. And so you see what's happened throughout the course of the season. The second half against Navy, 5 sacks allowed. The rest of the year, just 3.
So this has been an area they've done a good job, and it was just out of characteristic last week for them against Navy, and it's a situation they tried to address. I think as much as anything, it's a style of play thing for them. When they get the running game going like they have so far, everything else comes off of it, and those blitzes get a little quieter.
Here's Pine, protected well this time, and fires, and this pass is off target. He's looking for Mitchell Evans, and it's Cole Batson there in coverage getting the job done.
Another example of Drew Pine throwing the football in this weather. It's a corner route again. We saw it earlier down in the red zone. He's trying to drive the ball to the boundary. It just gets hung up. And sometimes the ball gets a little heavier, doesn't come out of your hand quite as cleanly, and can get caught up in the wind here. If he wants to throw that ball out in the sidelines a little bit more, they got to look at that going forward. Decide what kind of throws they want to make for Pine throughout this game.
Couple running backs, and he will flip this ahead. This is Chris Tyree, who's coming across the formation, and really nothing there. 3rd and long upcoming. Let's check in with Zora on the sideline.
Drew Pine started the game today with gloves on both hands, and then going into the second drive, he took the glove off of his throwing hand. Some trial and error here when it comes to the accessories.
Zora, that was an interesting thing talking to him. And Tommy Reese said he wore gloves 1 time, and that was on his senior night. Basically, Doug Flutie talked him into in pregame warmups. So let's see if the no-glove approach works here on a 3rd and 7. Pine steps up. Now trying to buy himself some time, and has a wide receiver. But that time, it's Deion Colsey who has been heating up, and Pine was saying that they built chemistry playing on the second string together. If he's one-on-one, I'm going to Colsey.
Hey, showing some pressure here, but they drop out of there. Ends up being a 3-man rush. Pines finds some softness in the pocket and then breaks the pocket. Good thing he took the glove off. Big time throw to Colsey. Colsey's a big target running across there at 6'4", and excellent ball skills. Reaches back and makes a catch. Hard to throw the ball in weather like this, but also hard to catch the ball. Big time play by Deion Colsey.
Here's Pine. Back to the air. Pine has a wide receiver, and this time it's his running back in Logan Diggs down the sideline. Takes it inside the 15 before Maytree makes the stop for Boston College.
Looks like Pine's a little more comfortable throwing the ball to the offensive right. Okay, eventually this is Diggs. He's the tailback. He's working his way out and running up the sidelines. Excellent protection by this Notre Dame offensive line to allow a play like that to develop. And then Pine's on the money, and another good hands catch by Logan Diggs.
So Chris Tyree now, the running back. Fake it to him, to the outside, it's Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer with a stiff arm extends the football. And he's going to be marked out just short of reaching that ball in for the touchdown.
One more time, this is one of those run-pass options. If you don't like the run, why not spit it out to that guy? This time he's on target, throwing the ball to the left. Mayer has the ball in the outside hand. Always one of those dangerous things when you reach out down by the goal line. If the ball comes out and goes through the end zone, it's a touchback. Looks like he was outside of that pylon. They marked him at the 1.
They keep Chris Tyree in the game at running back. Fake it to him. Here's Pine, and that pass is caught for the touchdown. It's Matt Salerno, and you saw a penalty marker come out right at the conclusion of that catch by Salerno.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference for passes behind the line of scrimmage. Touchdown.
Senior day for Salerno. Remember that one.
Crespi High School. Here he is, Salerno, involved in the run game a lot. This time make it look like he's involved in the run. Go fast with the motion, and then run right back out into the flat. The timing is excellent. Pine puts the ball in, pulls it out, spits it out to Salerno. It's excellent execution. The detail of snapping the ball on time was the difference.
And here is Grupe. Good. The senior on senior day. You better believe Tommy Reese knows that calling the plays. Hits him for his first career touchdown.
How about that?
TJ.
The world's top figure skaters will put on a show as the Grand Prix season continues in Japan tomorrow 4 Eastern on NBC. The Grotto. That is a must stop. You ever visit this campus, cruise over there, light a candle, moment you won't forget. Here is Zach Yoakum, send it deep, and Jalen Gill is back to receive. Catch this one beyond the 10-yard line, and here goes Gill, throttle down out across the 30. Let's check in with Zora.
For Matt Salerno, playing for the Irish is a lifelong dream fulfilled. His grandfather went to Notre Dame and played football here in the 1950s. This summer, head coach Marcus Freeman called Salerno to tell him he would get a scholarship for his final senior season. He says it's an honor and a privilege to put on that helmet every day.
Very cool. And, Coach, I know you had some experience with Salerno as well. You were telling me a story just a moment ago.
I sure did. You and I came out here for training camp, and I sat in one of their night team meetings, and Coach Freeman had Matt Salerno talk to the team and talk about what it means to be a Notre Dame football player, and it was something else.
To the ground here, and this time it's Pat Garwo, and there is nothing there for him. And Pine on that last drive, 6 of 7 for 77 yards in the touchdown. I think he's better without the glove.
Yeah, no question.
Yep.
I think unless you've thrown with a glove a lot in your life, it's hard to go out into a ball game for the first time and throw the ball the way you want to. And glad he took it off and be a lot more effective on that last drive throwing it.
Brings Zay Flowers in motion. Now Moorhead trying to just get rid of the football. That was Howard Cross, who shot into the backfield and was hanging all over Emmett Moorhead. He couldn't get away a pass cleanly.
One of the things that impresses this BC coaching staff the most about Emmett Moorhead is his calm and poise in the pocket. A lot of moving parts on this BC offensive line. They're the worst in the college football, running the football, the worst in giving quarterback pressures, and the guy who faces the bulk of that is the quarterback. It's a tough environment for him to play, and he's kept his poise. Important for him in this game down 17 to maintain that. A lot of football to be played.
Pressure coming once again. Moorhead steps up, and this pass is right on the money. Zay Flowers down the sideline. A big chunk broken off for BC.
And that's Boston College's best player right there, Zay Flowers. He's in a stack alignment. He's got quickness. He's got speed. More than anything else, he's an instinctive player. He keeps the route tight, and Moorhead throws a strike. And credit the freshman for laying the ball out there in these conditions. He's had pressure on him all day long. An interception early. He didn't blink. A big-time conversion for BC.
All kinds of speed for Zay Flowers. 4.4, maybe high 4.3 guy coach thought. More pressure coming. Moorhead back to the air. And this time he's intercepted. Who else? Benjamin Morrison rises for the pick. His second of the game.
First down, Notre Dame.
Benjamin Morrison is something else. It's single high man-to-man coverage outside. It's the same route. It's a go route. The receiver runs a good route. He keeps it tight. Moorhead a little bit late with the ball and a little bit short, and Morrison makes him pay. High pointing the ball. Full extension. Eyes to the ball through the catch. This guy is something else. 2 big interceptions against Clemson. 2 more today. And the Irish faithful are going wild.
You're looking at one of the best true freshmen in the entire country. The pride of Brophy Prep out there in Phoenix, Arizona.
This guy's 18 years old, Jack.
Unreal.
He is something else. Mature beyond his years as a person and as a player. He can cover, but he also can catch. He makes the offense pay. Great stuff.
Here's Pine, and Pine delivers a low pass that is caught by Chris Tyree before Cole Batson makes the stop for Boston College.
We can't speak more highly of Benjamin Morrison. What he did against Clemson, the 2 game-changing plays, and the start that he's off to today. And again, we've had a chance to visit with him. He's a young kid. He's trying to figure out college. He's trying to figure out what it's like to be a big-time player here at Notre Dame. And great maturity, great calm and poise about him. And he's an electrifying player.
Pine gives. This is Audric Estime to set up a 3rd and mid-range for Notre Dame. And remember he talking about Morrison waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the park and work out with his dad. And, you know, Freeman was saying that both of these freshman corners are opposite personalities. Mickey's this big personality, loves talking trash, getting it mixed up. Morrison said every time things get chippy, he goes, Coach, I'm about to curse right now the way these guys are talking to me. He's that kind of guy, so pure in his faith. And people inside this locker room, inside that building for Notre Dame, have nothing but great things to say about the true freshman.
Don't mistake that for lack of competitiveness or fire, because he's got that too.
Now a 3rd and 5.
First charge timeout. Notre Dame. 30 seconds.
So Marcus Freeman wants to think about this 3rd down. Any play call that you like here. They get creative in this game. Trying to get all 3 of these running backs in the game. They've had success with that as well.
I think the biggest thing that Notre Dame's thinking about here is, are they going to bring pressure? What's my pressure answer? You have to go back to the second half of the game last week against Navy, where they blitzed literally on 18 plays in the second half. They brought pressure time and time again, and Notre Dame did not have answers. Notre Dame has to anticipate that heat here. Make sure they give Drew Pine an answer. A simple, quick solution can win in these situations. So anticipate that, react to everything else.
Irish 1 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Here's Pine, clean drop, and that pass is caught. It's Michael Mayer coming across the field and takes it out just shy of the 50-yard line.
Michael Mayer is so impressive because he does so many different things for the Irish. Okay, this is a sail route. Pretend like I'm going to run an over route across the field. Then work your way back out to the corner route. 2 misses on the corner routes early by Pine. That one's right on the money. Good job securing it by Michael Mayer. Irish are rolling.
And Mayer, of course, not a senior, but this very well may be the last time we see him inside Notre Dame Stadium. Surefire first-round draft pick he will be. Audric Estime, the running back. Give it to him. Big hole opens up for Estime, and he storms into the secondary.
Really impressive control in the line of scrimmage by this Irish offensive line. It's just Estime here, and he bounces it into that hole right there. But again, the blue shirts knocking the white shirts off the ball. Look at that removal. You call that displacement. Displace the defensive line, and then this guy, he's 230 pounds. I bet he's 245. He gets a head of steam behind him. He's awfully tough to bring down.
It is all Irish in this first quarter. See the snow starting to come in. A gain of 17 from Estime to close it out. Irish lead 17-0. Aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. Look at the lakes there as you cruise from above the campus of Notre Dame. Notre Dame rolling in that first quarter in a heavy formation to start the second. Here's Pine. Pine looking for his tight end and Mitchell Evans, and throws that football well behind him. And so there's John McNulty, and Tommy Rees said he is the guy that I am closest to in this profession. Just talked to him yesterday, talked to him weekly, and we talked to McNulty as well, and he said, I think I talked to Tommy Rees more than I talked to my wife, in a joking way, but he said, man, we are so close. Talk about TV shows, talk about plays that we see in the NFL, plays that we see in college, share information. McNulty calls and checks on Michael Mayer, checks on his old tight end room, always wants to know what's going on at Notre Dame. He really didn't plan on leaving, but professionally thought the opportunity to be offensive coordinator was too good at BC. Handoff here, Audric Estime bursts through the middle. Another first down run by Audric Estime. There they were together, coaching at the University of Notre Dame, and then pregame as well. Let's take a look at this as they were hanging out almost the entirety of pregame, just catching up in person for the first time in a while.
Hey, Jack, this relationship goes back to the LA Chargers when Tommy Rees was the quality control coach and John McNulty was a position coach.
Here's Pine. Protection's great, and he's looking for Michael Mayer, who can't hang on.
And it's a great relationship because it happens a lot in football with players. A veteran player kind of mentoring a younger player, and it happens in coaching as well. McNulty was a veteran coach. Tommy Rees was an incoming entry-level coach in the NFL, and he really took Tommy under his wing, and then had the opportunity to come back here and be the tight ends coach at Notre Dame the last couple of years when Tommy's been the offensive coordinator. They have a great relationship, personal relationship, football relationship, and the bonds they formed many years ago continue to stay strong.
Here's Pine trying to set up a screen, and he can't get the football to Logan Diggs. And just to finish that story, McNulty was saying, I'm an Irish Catholic kid from Scranton. Notre Dame was the holy grail of life to me. I had no intentions of leaving ever. I wanted to stay right there. But he knew Jeff Hafley for a long time, and when he got the opportunity to be the offensive coordinator, he said, man, it's just too good to pass that up.
Yeah, hard professional decision, but you get a chance to run the offense like he has at Boston College. Too good an opportunity. You see these offenses, when they're at their best, they look a lot alike. I think both these guys have influenced each other strongly throughout the years.
So 3rd and 10 now for Tommy Rees to think about. Empty look to start, and he'll motion Chris Tyree behind Pine. Pine has his pass deflected, and that has been the story of his year. A whole bunch of batted passes at the line, standing 5'11", and it's Azuruku who got a hand up and batted it away.
Again, the protection is clean, and this can happen for a couple different reasons. Pine is not the tallest guy, 5'11" and change, but also sometimes when you stare down a receiver, they get stoned at the line of scrimmage, they see where your eyes are going, they stop and they jump. That's what happened there. It's happened throughout this year for Notre Dame.
So here's Groupie from 41 yards away, and that is good. There's Notre Dame a 20-0 lead.
Been really impressive by Notre Dame on offense to start this ball game. The initial drive all the way down the field, they kick a field goal, they cash in, scoring a touchdown after the Morrison interception, and then score 2 more times here. They're scoring on all their drives. It's what they did in the first half last week against Navy. They got to maintain it. Stats heavy in Notre Dame's favor throughout this ball game so far.
And Coach, the college football community was devastated this week after the shooting Sunday night that killed 3 football players at the University of Virginia. And head coach Tony Elliott said they were incredible young men who had extremely bright futures. And Virginia's game against Coastal Carolina, scheduled for today, was canceled in recognition of those lost. And our thoughts, of course, remain with all those impacted including the entire campus down there in Charlottesville. And both these teams today showing respect with the decal on their helmet.
What a tragedy.
So Yoakum send it deep, and that flies over the head of Gill, and then for the touchback. So you're Boston College, you're down 20-0. Beginning of the second quarter. How do you try to get yourself back into this game?
Yeah, you take comfort in what happened 7 days ago against NC State when you're down 14 late in that ball game. You just settle in. There's a lot of football to be played. The biggest issue with Boston College on offense is the offensive line has been in a shambles all year long with injuries. A lot of really good players graduated in the NFL. They're banged up front. They can't run it, and they don't protect very well. Puts a lot of burden on this freshman quarterback.
Here's Moorhead once again, and this time it's complete. That is Zay Flowers, and that'll give Moorhead his second completion. He's over 40 yards now. He has the 2 interceptions, and he has been blitzed on 8 of 9 dropbacks to begin this
Here's
game.
Flowers here, and you can see his quickness, his change of direction. Pretends like he's going inside, foot in the ground, comes back out, creates tremendous separation. And love what John McNulty does here. You don't run it very well, you don't protect very well. Move the quarterback, get him away from all those defenders inside. A good drive starter for the Eagles.
Back to the ground, 2nd and 1. It's Alex Broom trying to gain that first down. It will be awfully close, maybe just short based on the spot.
It's really a mismatch up front, Jack. I mean, this veteran defensive line that Notre Dame has, and then these young players on Boston College offensive line. A couple of them are going to be good players, but a couple of these guys, they were defensive players in training camp. Because of all the injuries, they've had to bring guys over, shuffle it around a lot, and you see it on a play like that, they create no movement up front. They try to run the ball inside on 2nd and 1, and they get nothing. They get dominated. So these 3rd and 1s become that much more challenging when you have that mismatch on the line of scrimmage.
They're going to let Moorhead pass. Now he's scrambling and trying to get a throw down the sideline. That's Alex Broom, who somehow spun around and made the catch. What a catch by Alex Broom down the sideline.
It was a big-time catch and a heck of a throw. He go back shoulder. Look at Broom. Again, it's 25 degrees and cold out here. I don't know if he secured it all the way through.
Close.
If you're BC, try to snap it as fast as you can. I don't know. Maybe that right hand got underneath it. Ball didn't move that much. It was called a catch on the field. They're letting it go. Nice job.
Trying to set up the screen here. He's looking for Garwo and puts the pass beyond him.
Boy, that's a missed opportunity right there for Boston College. You could feel that pass rush in Moorhead's face immediately. He drifts over to the right-hand side and just simply misses the throw. Good with his eyes. Good find in the screen. Too much touch on it. There was a lot of running room out in front of Garwo on that one. Those are the kind of plays you need if you want to get back into this ball game.
On 2nd and 10, play action. Moorhead trying to escape the pressure. Football is out, and that ball is recovered. Isaiah Foskey there. It's Jack Kaiser with the hit that got the football loose. Isaiah
Rolling on the
Foskey
field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
on the spot for the recovery. So it's Jack Kaiser, who has been excellent for Notre Dame. A great tackler this time, gets to the quarterback. Ball is out, and here comes Foskey.
Live on Peacock.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by PNC Private Bank. We'll focus on the how. Just tell us what's your why. By Progressive Insurance, a touchdown for your budget. Visit progressive.com. By Jersey Mike Subs, be a sub above. And by Hyundai, it's your journey. Moments from the Holy War, 2019 Senior Day, the last time these two teams met. Here in South Bend, the Irish victorious 40-7. Back to the ground. Here's Chris Tyree, and he is swallowed up. That's Vinny De Palma making the stop.
Take a look at the fumble here, Jack. One of the things I've been so impressed by with Emmett Moorhead is his pocket presence and how he carries the football, but not this time. They were trying to take a shot down the field, and he gets stuck holding the ball with one hand. Jack Kaiser knocked it out, and then the effort by Foskey to recover it. The big thing for the freshman is to put these plays behind you, learn from them, and just try to execute one play at a time. The ball is going to be critical for him going forward. 3 turnovers already.
Here is Logan Diggs, and he picks up 9. Yeah, you mentioned it. 3 takeaways, and that is a season high for Notre Dame defensively.
When you win the ball, you usually win the game, particularly when you're the team that's better. And that's one of the things that BC had to do in this ball game. They had to play a clean game. It hasn't been clean so far, but reflect back 1 week ago, their game against NC State and Notre Dame's game against Navy. There's a lot of football to be played.
And here comes the tight end sneak once again. It's Mitchell Evans. It appears he got another. I mean, coming into this game, he had 0 targets, 5 carries, 5 first downs, and 1 touchdown. There's another first down for him.
Fantastic. This has been such a good play for them in these short yardage situations. Clean exchange, great surge up front. And then when you're 6'5", 255, you're going to move the pile yourself. And I love the story that Tommy Rees told us. You know, he had watched Travis Kelce do this so much at Kansas City through the years, so they wanted to use it. Mitchell Evans had played some quarterback in high school. Let's do it with Evans. He found out after they put it in that he was a gun quarterback. He had never been under center.
That's right. He's darn good at it, though. I know that. It looked like Pine there who was calling for a timeout.
Take a charge timeout. Notre Dame. 30 seconds.
Let's check in with Zora.
Well, Jack, the other side of that story is from Mitchell Evans. He said a few weeks ago, Tommy Rees texted him a picture with no explanation or context. It just said, Mitchapalooza. At a pre-practice meeting, Coach explained the text was not just a reference to the film Old School, but the title of a new play. That play was what you all just detailed.
Mitchapalooza.
Mitchapalooza. It's the best play in football. Between Notre Dame blocking 7 punts and then putting their tight end at quarterback and running these quarterback sneaks, I've really never seen anything like it. It works every time.
And credit to Mitchell Evans, but also credit to the rest of the blockers who come in directly behind him and push that pile. And that's one of Tommy Rees's favorite things. When you get offensive linemen or running backs or receivers or tight ends that come up behind the football and push that entire pile forward, you see them do it so often with great success.
The only feeling for those defensive linemen.
Here is Chris Tyree, and Tyree is going to pick up about 5 yards there, working directly up the middle of that BC defense.
Notre Dame has cashed in on their first 4 drives, 2 touchdowns, Diggs and Salerno, but 2 field goals. When they've kicked the field goals, it's been inefficiency on second down in this sticky area right here. So important for them to be able to continue to have good second down plays to keep themselves out of those third downs that BC's done a good job getting off the field on.
Pressure coming, and it forces Pine out of the pocket, and now he's going to look downfield, and it's incomplete. Vinny De Palma, who was in the face of Pine and flushed him.
That's it. Pressure, pressure, and more pressure. That's really BC's best chance. Coming off the edge or coming up inside. Try to create a stressful environment for their quarterback. And now they've got themselves into that 3rd and 4 situation. These are not easy. BC did a good job getting off the field last time with the block pass of Pine. I would anticipate pressure one more time.
Irish have been good on 3rd down, 4 for 6. so far. Motion Michael Mayer out of the backfield. Pine, he's going to scramble for it, try to gain that first down, and he did with his legs, it appears. Spot right on that line, and I think they're going to give him that first down.
Jack, I thought heat. They went four-man rush. They played zone. Pine saw lane. He's not a great runner, but he's a competitive runner. At the end of the down, he knew he needed 4. He put that shoulder down, did a good job securing the ball. There was some pressure from behind him. He locked it up. I think that left knee goes down. I think he's across there. They're calling 4th and inches.
So the refs are taking their time with this, and based on the spot, it's just shy, and it looked like that football was a little beyond where they had marked it when he was running. Bring the chains out. Awfully close.
Yeah, and I don't know about that spot, but I don't think there's any doubt what Marcus Freeman is going to do here. I bet Mitchell Evans plays quarterback here, and they run a quarterback sneak. Jack, what do you think?
I'm with you. I think right now Marcus Freeman wants him to take another look at that spot. He's still having a conversation with the refs. Love the idea of the play call.
I'm with you, though. When I saw it, I thought he had made it the first time. But these are hard to overturn because that yellow line isn't a factor here.
So knee down there.
That's the left knee. You can't see the ball in that view.
Yep. So they will have to bring the offense back out. And just as you said, here goes Mitchell Evans back to the quarterback spot. There's movement. Appeared it was the Irish who jumped up out of their stands first. I think that was the right guard and Josh Lugg who moved.
Prior to the snap, ball start. Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That hurts.
That's an absolute killer right there. No doubt Lugg moved quickly. BC reacts to that movement, and they all point to Lugg.
So that will bring Blake Groupie back out. It's 2 for 2 so far. This is deepest of the day from 46. Can he bend it back? Yes! How about Groupie? On the money once again. So this has been a game for Groupie to shine. The transfer on senior day. It's a draw.
Shaping it.
Just want to take a moment to thank all you seniors for everything you've done for me and Notre Dame football. You've helped lay the foundation for Coach Freeman and his new coaching staff, as well as this new chapter at Notre Dame.
On the defensive line, I want to thank Jason and Justin Amalola and Isaiah Foskey for always showing what it means to be a true brotherhood.
There they are, the Adamalolas on the sideline. Their family making the trip as well. So they had the Sprinter vans. They had to pick up so many family members and friends on the road here to South Bend, and this in for the touchback. And Jason is not playing today. He's in concussion protocol. Justin is, and they were telling us some great stories yesterday about their dad, and their dad's from Nigeria. Said for Dad, Notre Dame is everything. Only school he would talk about. He came to the U.S. 20 years old, trying to make money for his mom who was sick. His first job selling newspapers. He's so gritty, becomes a salesman, works his way up to become a salesman on Wall Street. And they both told us, if I can put a smile on my dad's face, I already made it.
Jack, it was so much fun talking to those guys yesterday and following them all year long. And they used the word gratitude 15 times in our conversation. How grateful they are to be here at Notre Dame and the opportunity to come to an institution like this and then do it together, play together on the same defense. They had huge smiles on their faces, such genuine people, and they're really what college football is all about.
St. Peter's Prep, same school as Brandon Wimbush, Minka Fitzpatrick. Saw those guys in the 8th grade said, we want to commute. We want to make that trip. It was about a 90-minute trip that they would make. Wake up at 5:45 in the morning. The head coach would pick them up. They'd drive all the way over to go play high school football at the highest level there in Jersey as the snow begins to fall inside Notre Dame Stadium. There's Moorhead, swings it out. This is Zay Flowers working out of the backfield. Going to set up a 3rd down. That's Cam Hart making the stop.
Jack, continuing on Adamalola, you know, they grew up in Jackson, New Jersey. And they go to high school at St. Peter's in Jersey City. And then they pick up Minka Fitzpatrick in a place called Woodbridge.
Yeah.
They get another guy in Freehold. You don't know that geography, but it's an hour and a half every day both ways to go have that opportunity. And they felt like if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have an opportunity to live out their dream playing here at Notre Dame. And again, they're so grateful for the whole experience.
3rd down opportunity here for Justin to rush the passer. Moorhead, Justin in his face, gets it away. It's Alex Broom, and now Broom heads forward, picks up that 1st down for Boston College before J.D. Bertrand makes the stop for Notre Dame.
We're going to find out a lot about Emmett Moorhead going forward. 3 turnovers early in this ball game, but watch the poise here. He's under duress one more time. That's Justin bringing the heat. He spits the ball out to Broom, a big conversion here for Boston College. There's a mismatch up front. Hard for this BC offensive line to block this Notre Dame defensive line. And how Moorhead handles this pressure, a big indication what kind of quarterback he's going to be going forward.
More pressure coming. Steps up directly into the face of that pressure, and he finds Jeremiah Franklin, the 2nd tight end for Boston College, for a nice completion.
I couldn't be more impressed with those last 2 throws. Again, he's a young guy. It's 25 degrees. You know, snow's in your face. You're not blocking him up front. You have no running game. You've thrown 2 interceptions. You've fumbled once. Okay, the only that matters is what you do now. Are you mentally tough enough to play this play? He's demonstrating that right now.
2nd and 4 through the flurries. Swing it out. That pass is caught. It's George Takis, the transfer from Notre Dame. And Takis got just short. It's going to set up a 3rd down and short. And Reese said that Takis was staying. He thought he was going to stay at Notre Dame. Then McNulty got the job to become the offensive coordinator. He knew that Mayer, of course, would be coming back and all the targets that Michael Mayer would get for Notre Dame. So he said, I'm going to go over to BC, try this thing out, try to be the featured tight end, and that's what he's been. Swing this out, 3rd down, and that is a quick hit put on. Ball still alive, and Maris Leofow scoops it up, and Maris Leofow in for the touchdown. The hit was put on by Cam Hart. It sprung the football loose. How are they going to rule this?
Pass, 4th down.
So was it a backwards pass?
We got a pretty good angle on it. Looks like it was a backward pass to us.
They rule it incomplete. The wind's drifted with that thing. What do you think?
Again, we got a pretty good view at it from up here, Jack, and I think that ball is behind. I think it goes backwards. It's a little bit of a bubble.
Under further review.
Zay Flowers is going to bubble backwards a little bit. So he's throwing it on about the first hash mark, and he's catching it about the second hash mark. Be real surprised if they didn't rule this a fumble.
See if we can draw the exact line here. Take a break. Irish lead 23-0. So over the break, that was ruled a backwards pass. Now they're unable to advance it because they said it was an incomplete pass. Terry McCauley explained this exactly why they couldn't pick it up and run with it.
Exactly, Jack. They did rule on the field incomplete pass. So that's the ruling replay starts with. Obviously, it is a backward pass. It was clearly recovered by Notre Dame. They get the ball to spot recovery. They cannot have the advance.
Freeman did not like that ruling.
He got the important ruling. They got the ball. Sun's coming out here in South Bend. They're up 23-0. A lot of good things happening for Marcus right now.
And Terry, is there any reason to let that play out, to not blow the whistle, let that entire play happen, and then come back and do it after the fact? Or how do they go about that mentally, talking about the refs?
Well, the reason is that they need to rule what they see on the field. They clearly made a mistake. They should have ruled it as backward pass because it's clearly backward. But you really don't let things play out. What you do is rule what you see on the field. Unfortunately, this time that was an error.
Mm-hmm. So now they're going to go back over and take another look. Terry, any idea what they might be looking at here?
I really couldn't tell you. This seems pretty black and white to me. It's a backward pass recovered by Notre Dame. Set the clock back to 5:08 at the spot of recovery, or spot of the incomplete pass. I really don't know why they would be going back here.
The other piece of this story, Jack, it was 3rd and inches. And they throw a bubble screen to Zay Flowers in a 25-degree snowstorm. And it goes back to the story we talked about at the outset, the dominance of this Notre Dame defensive line. Hard for BC to run the ball all year long. Hard for them to protect the quarterback. Trying to get the ball out into space in a situation like that.
Place at the 42-yard line. First down.
So they're trying to get the spot. You hear the boos come down from the Irish faithful. It is also a great play by Cam Hart, who put that hit on Flowers right as that pass was moving backwards. So here comes Drew Pine and hands this off to Logan Diggs, and just a gain of 3 there for Diggs.
You mentioned Cam Hart making the play there. That's been something that's really jumped out to us over the course of the season. The playmaking ability of the corners at Notre Dame and the physicalness, willingness to make tackle, make plays on bubble screens and quick screens and stick their nose in there. We saw it against Clemson. We saw it against their big play in this ball game, getting the ball back for Notre Dame.
Multiple running backs in the backfield. Flip it to Logan Diggs. You got Estime as the lead blocker. And here goes Diggs working his way down the sideline inside the 15-yard line. It was Audric Estime and Joe Alt who were leading the way for Diggs.
Love what Tommy Rees does here. You see this all the time with Notre Dame. Now they're going to bring a guy across, and we're going to pitch it wide. They're ready to defend in here. They capture the edge of the defense. Look at Alt. Look at Estime. Out in front. He can't give a guy like Logan Diggs all that space. Big explosive run for the Irish.
Pickup of 26 yards, and he is over 100 yards on the game, talking about Diggs. End around here, hand it off. It's Lorenzo Styles who's moving his way forward inside the 10.
Jack, it's the same idea. You've heard me talk about north-south runs. That's when Notre Dame is at their best. Hammer them inside. And when you do that effectively, the defense loads everybody up inside. So now you get to the perimeter. Tommy Rees doing a good job complementing that success inside with the pitch to Diggs. And now it's the fly sweep the other way to Styles, keeping the BC Eagles defense off balance.
Pine hands it off. It's Audric Estime. Had the nice block. Now the nice run. Touchdown, Notre Dame. It's Audric Estime.
Audric Estime is such a good red zone runner. This play is meant to go downhill, get stuffed inside. The lateral quickness and feel and agility to bounce it outside. We've seen this happen a lot this year. The speed to get to the space. Big on those runs for a big guy like that. He's awfully good down there.
That is the 10th rushing touchdown of the season for Audric Estime. Blake Groupie on for the extra point. 31-0 Notre Dame.
Hammer them north and south. When they take it away, bounce it outside. There's Estime one more time for the Irish. It's 30-0.
1993, Coach Holtz, #1 Notre Dame, trailed 17th ranked Boston College, and then, of course, Pete Mitchell, the touchdown. Notre Dame would come back and take the lead, but it's the Gordon field goal gave Boston College the upset victory and eliminated Notre Dame from title contention. In the 2022 version, this first half has been all Irish, 30-0 on top of BC, and this may be another kick that did not make it into the end zone. It is, and the flag comes out.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball replaced at the 35-yard line. First down.
That's twice now for Zach Yokel. And coming up, the All-State halftime report, Catherine Tappan, alumni analyst Corey Robinson, and a two-time All-American Pete Mitchell. I know you know Pete Mitchell. I was checking this out in warm-ups. Look at this couple former teammates.
That's Mitch's route right there. He can run a non-route like nobody now. I love that guy. We were teammates with the Giants together, dear friend.
The run game here, a little bit of room for Alex Broom.
Hey, Mitch told a great story. In '92, he's on that team that comes out here to Notre Dame, and they get bludgeoned by the Irish. They lose by 50 points. Some questions about whether or not Coach Holtz ran the score up a little bit on him. And Tom Coughlin's the coach at Boston College at the time. Pete goes into the locker room expecting Coach Coughlin to get all over these guys. His speech was short. He said, guys, we're going to be back here next year. Remember this feeling.
Here's Moorhead, and that pass is incomplete.
The BC Eagles came back here in '93, and they beat the Fighting Irish. And Pete Mitchell got even emotional telling that story, the memories of that. And Coach Coughlin's on our mind this week. His wife, Judy, passed away. One of the great football guys in college and pro football, impacted a lot of lives. John McNulty, the BC offensive coordinator, said he was his biggest influence. So you can feel his presence here in South Bend today.
3rd down and 6 for Boston College. Emmett Moorhead looking for Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers fell trying to come out of his break. Moorhead threw it there anyway, and nothing doing.
Zay Flowers working on Benjamin Morrison out here. It's a good release. He just slips a little bit at the top, a little grab by Morrison, but not enough. That's a freshman going against the best player that BC has. It's good coverage.
And back to the punt block unit. Saw that quick break there by Boston College. It was a nice high punt from Longman earlier in the game. Little movement here and gets away another good one that's drifting to the 25-yard line. Here is Matt Salerno. Already has a touchdown. Now Salerno, a nice move on punt return, and he gets it out to midfield. So he is in as the punt returner for Brandon Joseph, who is out today, and Salerno having himself a game. George Lopez and his daughter Mayan star in NBC's new comedy Lopez versus Lopez. Father must know best, but daughter knows better. Lopez versus Lopez, Friday, 8/7 Central on NBC and streaming the next day on Peacock. We got the leprechaun picking up some snowballs, and he's dishing.
Looks like Elf.
You got to be careful. They'll be throwing those marshmallows right back at the leprechaun now. Senior day tradition. Run game, straight up the middle goes Chris Tyree, breaks a tackle. You see the speed he has as Tyree goes inside the 25.
North-south runs, but Notre Dame does better than anybody in the country. It's not complicated. They do it time and time and time again. Blue shirts knocking the white shirts off the ball. Give the back different places to run it. Let them find it. Excellent by Tyree there.
Here's Pine. He wants all of it and floats it over the head of Michael Mayer. And remember, for Notre Dame, it was this kind of a hot start against Navy. The second half, very different. So you can imagine that halftime message, they will be on this team even with the lead.
Yeah, it sounds like we're promoting the game in the second half, but just go back 7 days for both these teams. BC was down against NC State, seemed out of it. They came back and won the game. Notre Dame seemed in control, and Navy gave them all they could handle in the second half. So a lot of football will be played. No doubt Notre Dame has been in control. Important for them to cash this one in.
Here's Pine. That pass is caught. It's Jaden Thomas. And Thomas gets across that line to gain for the first down before De Palma makes the stop for Boston College.
Jack, college football started in 1869. It's a long, long time ago. Since then and up to this day, the game is won on the line of scrimmage. Notre Dame is controlling the offensive line of scrimmage, a comfortable environment for Pine. BC has no chance on the other side. That's been the story of the game.
To the run once again, Chris Tyree, touchdown, Notre Dame.
Run it, run it, and run it again, and run it north and south. Been effective for Notre Dame. One more time, they're in the gun. It's just a downhill run where the blue shirts get on the white shirts. It's not only the down guys, the tight ends, the All-American, Michael Mayer, sliding back, knocking defenders onto the ground. Chris Tyree knows what to do with it.
And there is Blake Grippy for the extra point. And Notre Dame has a 37-0 first half lead.
Exactly the kind of start that Marcus Freeman wanted for his team. Hard to get up 37 in the first half. He'll have an easy speech at halftime after what happened last week. Take a look at that. 35-plus points in 5 straight games. Second time in school history. That's approaching 80 years. The last time it happened, and a lot of scrutiny of this Notre Dame offense. They've come up big, and they're playing their best football right now. Tommy Rees putting all the pieces together. The physicalness of the offensive line, the presence of the tight ends, the three-headed monster at running back, and timely plays by Pine in this receiving core. They've been awfully good.
It has been that three-headed monster at running back for the entirety of the season for Notre Dame. Chris Tyree, Audric Estime, Logan Diggs, and all 3 Notre Dame running backs have a touchdown in this first half. As Yoko keeps this one in bounds, and it is fielded at the 10 by Gill. And Gill is stopped up just beyond the 20. Take a shot here? Go see what you can do?
It can feel like a hopeless situation for Boston College, but your mindset and your mentality as a player and as a coach is, let just one drive at a time, one play at a time within the drive. It's the ultimate cliche. We get that, but that's how you have to think. You can't look at the scoreboard. You can't score 37 at once. You need to execute one ball play. Would give them a shot in the arm if they can move the ball and get some points here before half.
It's been a fun matchup on the outside between Morrison and Zay Flowers, the star for Boston College. lined up across from each other once again, bottom of the screen. They'll hand this football off, and this is Garwo, and looks like Boston College is going to try to get back up on the football, but in this first half, that has very clearly gone to Morrison, as you now see Cam Hart making his way toward the sideline with a limp. So that brings Jaden Mickey into the game, a couple true freshman cornerbacks for the Irish. And pressure gets there, and it is Isaiah Foskey getting a sack. Justin Tuck's record is in trouble. Here comes Isaiah Foskey. He wants to be Notre Dame's all-time leader in sacks. And he got it.
Foskey is a big-time pass rusher, and it's a mismatch for him. He's working against Ozzie Trapillo on the left-hand side of the BC offensive line, and he had no chance. Excellent get-off. He works speed to power, and that guy on the right-hand side, Justin Tuck, is as good as it comes here at Notre Dame in the National Football League. Quite an accomplishment for Isaiah Foskey.
And Tuck, his mentor as well. Just spend 5 seconds talking to Foskey and you understand what Tuck means to him. All Notre Dame. They lead 37-0 over Boston College. All-State halftime report coming up next.
Welcome to the All-State Halftime Report.
Back at Notre Dame Stadium on this cold, blustery senior day, the Irish with a commanding 37-0 lead over Boston College. And for the fifth straight game, the Irish have scored 35 or more points, this time getting it before the half. As we welcome you into the All-State Halftime Report, I'm joined by two former standouts from these universities, former tight end of Boston College, Pete Mitchell, wide receiver Corey Robinson, and former student body president as well. Great to have you both with us as we take a look at some of Pete Mitchell's highlights from back in the day. And Corey, always good to have you back here on campus and helping us out with NBC Sports as well and the work that you do. But looking at this first half, a tremendous start for the Irish. What was most impressive to you, Corey?
How much time do you have? I mean, everything went well for the Irish. I mean, the offensive line is playing so well. The run game's unstoppable. But the thing that stood out to me was the takeaways. Multiple fumbles, multiple interceptions, and Isaiah Foskey surpassing Justin Tuck. I mean, can't get better than that.
And Pete, if you were in that locker room right now for Boston College, what would you try to share with them as to how to get back in the second half?
Well, I think you just got to keep fighting one play at a time. We came back last week. Notre Dame had a tough second half last week, so you got to have positive thoughts in your mind coming down the second half. But it's going to be tough.
A great win for them last week against NC State. Let's take a look at the All-State highlights because this was all about the running game for the Irish right off the bat, and it was the first play of the game. It was a 51-yard run for Logan Diggs, who has been outstanding for the Irish this season, and he started things off strong here today, Corey.
Multiple times you see this. Once the Irish running backs get to the second level, nothing but green grass.
Diggs with 113 yards just in the first half alone. Here he punches it in for a 10-0 lead for the Fighting Irish. This would get reviewed, but this play stood strong, Pete.
Yeah, great second effort by the running back. The defensive linemen are just getting caught out of position for us.
And then later in the second quarter, Diggs continuing his strong play with a 26-yard run. Audric Estime, Chris Tyree also highlighting the running game this afternoon, both with a touchdown. And that is how the Irish are getting the job done here defensively. Also, Corey, as you mentioned, just standing tall with Isaiah Foskey, beating Justin Tuck's all-time record in sacks here at Notre Dame. Just incredible season for him. And this is what it's all about for the Irish right now. At all three phases of the game, they're performing well.
And it's funny because it took this long. We expected to see this weeks and weeks earlier. But now it's like, wow, this team is starting to play incredible football. If they would have done this earlier, it could have been a completely different scenario.
Benjamin Morrison with a pair of interceptions so far in this game. But, Corey, you had an interesting point when we were watching the game. You thought maybe he's playing a little too aggressive. Yeah. Why did you say that?
Well, first of all, incredible performance by him. But if I was the receiver for Boston College, I'd be saying, look, he's playing the route. He's not even playing defensive back. He's playing receiver. Give me a double move, and I can get him every day. So that's how I'd be countering if I was Boston College right now. But he doesn't have any time to throw the ball. So it's kind of tough. Moorhead is in a tough position.
Pete, when you look at the way the Irish are running the ball here, what would be your message as far as defending this run for Boston College's defense?
I think just stay in your lanes. If they're gap control, whatever the play call is, do your job. There's too many massive holes out there. The guys are getting out of position and just getting pushed around too much.
All right, last week against the Naval Academy, Corey, we saw the Irish falter a little bit. It wasn't their strongest performance in that second half. We want to avoid that if you're the Fighting Irish today. How do they do that?
Just keep doing what you're doing. 37 points in the first half. So in my mind, it's all about execution. Don't let up. Just do what we do.
Pete, your mom, Peg, she's watching from Detroit. What was her text message to you today?
I got a text. She said this reminds her of the 92 game, not the 93 game. So hopefully we can have a better second half.
All right. Hopefully the Eagles get that message in the locker room that Mama Mitchell wants a little bit of a turnaround here in South Bend as we continue our coverage. A beautiful scene on the field on Senior Day. And coming up next, we're going to show you some great games around college football. 2 undefeated teams on the line.
your DVR.
The FIFA World Cup begins tomorrow in Qatar, and on Monday, the young stars of Team USA will make their debut against Gareth Bale and Wales. You can catch it on Spanish in Telemundo and streaming on Peacock. And the U.S. men's national team, they got some unique support, you guys, leading up to their World Cup appearance. Look at this. The TV character Ted Lasso put billboards up all around the country to wish players and coaches good luck in the World Cup. The billboards showed up in their hometowns and had Lasso's signature and, of course, his sense of humor. U.S. soccer fans across the world hope Lasso's encouragement can spark a deep run for the national team. And, of course, it all gets underway on Monday on Telemundo and Peacock. All right, number 3, Michigan hosting Illinois. First quarter, Blake Corum powers it in for the 2-yard touchdown, and Michigan on top. Second quarter, Michigan up by 4, and it was a scary scene here as Corum clutches his knee right after the play. Walked back to the locker room. He did return in the second half, which is good news for Michigan fans, you guys.
Yes. Scary. Always scary when you feel that knee go.
Michigan trying to keep their perfect season alive in the third quarter of a tie game now. Chase Brown takes the handoff, bounces outside, and heads in for the 37-yard touchdown.
Going into this game, it was a battle between 2 running backs, and we saw it.
Less than 20 seconds remaining. Jake Moody with a 35-yard field goal as Michigan goes on to win it 19-17 to remain undefeated. Number 4, TCU visiting Baylor, another undefeated team. We pick it up in the fourth quarter. Richard Reese pounds it in for the 1-yard touchdown, 28-20. Later in the fourth, TCU still down by 8. Amari DeMarcado takes it in for the 3-yard TD, 28-26. TCU going for it for 2. Henderson looking for DeMarcado, and it's incomplete.
We've got to look that ball in all the way.
3rd and 1, under a minute to go. DeMarcado with a 3-yard run, and TCU out of timeouts. What do? Corey, the clock is running. The field goal unit rushes in. Under 10 seconds to go. Griffin Kell with an opportunity here that he will remember forever. The 40-yard field goal as the clock expires and the crowd goes nuts. TCU wins it. The Horned Dogs avoid the upset, and that is a moment that he will remember. But what a thrilling game. Both games we were watching these, you guys. Thrilling right up to the end, but that TCU game was special, Corey.
Yeah, it was so special because, first and foremost, 3rd and 7 to run the ball with no timeouts left. I mean, the level of execution to get the field goal team on, that could have been the smartest or the dumbest play ever.
I was thinking the same thing when it was happening. It's all about situational football. You know, teams practice that every single week, either Friday or Saturday. You know, how quickly can we get our field goal team out there to get a kickoff, and how many seconds do we need? I thought they didn't have enough time, but they got it done. Perfect execution.
And Michigan, any Michigan fans watching that one were a little bit nervous right up to the end as we were watching in the green room as well. But here it is a commanding 37-0 lead for the Fighting Irish over Boston College. The wind is whistling. It's cold. We'll see what both teams do in the second half, and we'll get you back to Jack and Jason for it right after this.
This has been the All-State Halftime Report.
So Notre Dame doing anything they want in that first half. 37-0 over Boston College, and the Irish have completely controlled this game. As you've sat here, what's impressed you most about that first half?
Hey, they've controlled the game because they've controlled the line of scrimmage. On offense, they're just running the ball right down BC's throat. Over 200 yards rushing here in the first half. And on the other side, it's about the defensive front for Notre Dame, just making it miserable for BC. BC can't run it. They can't throw it. Notre Dame took the ball away 4 times in the first half. They've been dominant.
Let's take a look at this first half spotlight presented by Wagoneer.
Jack, how about these seniors? Matt Salerno, the senior walk-on, making a big touchdown catch early. And then how about the punt return coming back? 2 big plays for the senior. And then how about this guy, Isaiah Foskey, gets the fumble recovery, and then he breaks the Notre Dame sack record, long held by Justin Tuck. The senior showing up big on senior day for the Irish.
Been chasing that record all season, and it's important in life to look at things from differing perspectives. Well, a Notre Dame professor and her students are doing just that by taking a bird's eye approach to helping first responders. And for the final time this season, a Notre Dame professor poses the question, what would you fight for? Notre Dame leads big at the half over Boston College, and here is a look at today's game flow brought to you by Progressive. These Irish running backs, they have been spectacular. 37, the most points in a half this season. 19 carries, 202, 3 touchdowns, 10.6 yards per carry by those running backs. Then the turnovers, the interceptions, the fumble recoveries. Benjamin Morrison rising as a young star. And Isaiah Foskey, the most sacks in Notre Dame history, taking over for Tuck. First half stats, the time of possession. Notre Dame in complete control there. The rush yards, that's what they do, and Boston College cannot get the run game going at all. Let's go down to the sideline, check in with Zora Stevenson.
Before Marcus Freeman went into the locker room, he sat with me and he acknowledged Isaiah Foskey's new all-time sacks record here at Notre Dame. He said it's a reflection of that young man's career. As for the game in that locker room, Marcus Freeman asked his team one question: what kind of team are we? We're going to learn from the Navy's second half performance. And interestingly enough, Boston head coach Jeff Hafley asked his team the same thing. What kind of team are we? He said we're going to have to fight, and it's not all going to happen at once. They're down 37-0.
Yeah, Zora, and you got the feeling, talking to Marcus Freeman yesterday, that he was sick of the narrative that the Irish played down to the level of their opponents. He almost got a little angry even just talking about it, and you anticipated they would come out today looking for a fight, and they did.
Hey, Jack, sometimes when you're evaluating a player that you really like in the draft, a lot of people want to see them in competitive situations, and I get that. No question about that, but you also want to see them when they're way ahead or way behind. How do they play in these situations? Who are they in these situations when you're up 37 or down 37? Do you play the same way? Do you play your best regardless of what the circumstances are? We'll find out on both sides here in these next 30 minutes.
So let's see the quarterback comparison brought to you by Under Armour. There are the numbers for Moorhead as he heads back onto the field. Pine as well as the touchdown to Salerno.
Jack, to me, it has less to do with the quarterbacks and more to do with the environment. Notre Dame has been dominant up front on both sides, reflecting how the quarterbacks have played.
Pressure coming from Notre Dame. They'll run right into it. It's Pat Garwo who picks up 6 before Xavier Watts makes the stop for the Irish.
Last week prior to the Navy game, Marcus Freeman talked about these guys from Navy. I guarantee you one thing, they will never quit. And I think that's a message that the Notre Dame players heard a lot leading up to the game and then after the game. And hopefully it's a lesson learned for this Irish defense and their entire football team.
One more time on the ground and nothing there. That's Maris Leofau from his linebacker spot, who's in the backfield making the tackle.
Leofau awfully active. You see him right here on the right side of your screen. He's just one of those guys who can do a lot of different things. He can rush the passer, he can defend the run, he can shoot a gap. He's athletic and instinctive. Shows up big there. This will be a big third down for Emmett Moorhead in this BC offense.
Moorhead protected well, but there's a dangerous pass. That's J.D. Bertrand. Had an opportunity for the interception. You can see he's upset with himself that he didn't hang on.
Flowers is the best player for BC. Moorhead trying to get him the ball on a quick little slant. Bertrand has such good instincts in a feel. He reads the quarterback's eyes, drives on the ball, and he's going to be kicking himself on that one. That felt like a pick 6 to him.
This punt block group appears to be coming after Danny Longman again. We've been successful getting these punts away. This is a short, high punt. It goes to 50 and coming up to get it Salerno, and he's unable to field that football cleanly. Boston College thinks they have the football, and the refs agree, and they do exactly what BC needed to start this half.
Just a couple things here. Excellent job by Longman getting the ball out. And then Salerno, sure-handed, but it's blustery. It's hard. He's doing the right thing. Fair catch and trying to make a play on the ball. Conditions aren't easy. Ball slips through his hands, and the BC Eagles take advantage.
That was Gunnar Daniel, the snapper, the long snapper, got in there for the recovery. Boston College offense right back onto the field. Moorhead trying to escape and throw the football away, and he is able to. Snow's picking up in here.
It sure is. Talk about duress. He's got a lot of things he's got to deal with right now. The snow is coming down harder and harder. There's Notre Dame rushers in his face. He just got to find some simple solutions to get the ball moving a little bit, because it's been a struggle.
Please reset the game clock to 13:28.
It's been a struggle trying to keep Emmett Moorhead comfortable back there in the pocket.
It was snowy, then it was sunny for a second.
It sure was.
The snow comes back. This is just another day in South Bend. Just another day, I guarantee you.
Spoken like a former student.
Look at this snow circling around. 2nd and 10. Back to the pass game, trying to set up a screen. Is it intercepted again? It was Benjamin Morrison who was flying up. He read the screen. He says 1, 2, 3. His 3rd interception of this game. Get out of here, Benjamin Morrison.
It's the second time Moore has been high on one of these screens. Ball comes out of his hand, a tipped opportunity, and who else? Benjamin Morrison making another play for the Irish.
More truck owners are switching to Ram, which means more people behind the grill are switching to Ram.
Can you flip that?
And more people behind the
Try our large classic with 33% more pepperoni. And by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. This snowstorm is mayhem. You can barely see the field right now.
And there's great energy and juice in the stands, too. People are fired up. You can't even see touchdown Jesus.
Look at that shot. Handoff, I think, is right up the middle. It is Logan Diggs. Well, we're nice, warm, and cozy up in the booth. Zora Stevenson on the sideline. Zora, how is it down there?
Jack, I'm on the field, and I can barely see the play. Normally, the Irish have Gatorade and water as hydration options. Today, they've added hot apple cider, hot chocolate, and get this, hot chicken broth, too.
Let's see if they can run one up. That sounds darn good. A little hot chocolate.
I'm just glad we have the legendary Malibu cut Kelly Hayes as our spotter.
Yeah,
nobody better decipher who has the ball in this game.
Those binoculars do good use. Run game here. It's Logan Diggs, and set up a 3rd and long through the flurries. And remember, Coach Freeman made a point about we're practicing outside all week. We're going to be outside. He said the energy was tremendous at practice, but he wanted them to live in this style environment. It's been snowing all week. You've seen the shots at campus, snowing throughout as we headed in to the weekend, and snow once again on Saturday afternoon. Handoff on 3rd and 10. It's Audric Estime, and Estime escapes, and he is going to get close to that 1st down line.
Well, Notre Dame is built for this. Notre Dame is built for this. That's what this team is all about. Look at the shots. You can't even see anything. And here comes Estime coming out of the stack. But this is how they built their program. Offensive linemen, tight ends, a 3-back rotation. So you can practice inside, outside, whatever. You're controlling the line of scrimmage and handing it to those guys. You're going to have success. And they're embracing this opportunity right now.
You better believe that snow is sticking. Field starting to disappear. Turn white. Another run up the middle. Short run. pickup of 1 before Williams made the stop for Boston College.
You know what's so much fun about this, Jack, is becomes an incredibly memorable game, right, for everybody. If you're a student at Notre Dame, hey, do you remember the BC game? If you're a player, if you're a coach, if you're announcing the game, it just becomes so memorable. The whiteout in South Bend, and Notre Dame is rolling, and you can feel the energy in this stadium. Everybody's loving it. Maybe everybody but that BC defensive front.
They're trying to get a substitution on the field here for a 2nd and 9. You see Michael Mayer trying to figure out the play call, and they're going to have to take a timeout talking about Notre Dame. Well, step aside through the snow. 27-0 Notre Dame.
Guys, there's something on the ship. There's something with us here.
What do we do?
Get to the escape pods. Go now!
Okay, I'm an
Let's take a trip down memory lane here. A little flashback to the Snow Bowl. Number 22, Penn State. Irish, of course, ranked themselves. Look at the bus. Jerome Bettis gets the touchdown on the roll. Meyer into the end zone. Notre Dame, number 8, Notre Dame knocks off Penn State 17-16. Snow Bowl Part 2 coming right here. Notre Dame undefeated in the snow in this stadium. Here goes Lorenzo Styles trying to gain the edge. First down, Styles as he takes it inside the 15-yard line.
There he is, Tommy Rees early in the week. What's the biggest key in this game? He says we have to be able to handle the ball in the weather. And he's testing his group right there. They've been hammering them north and south. They run the around play to Styles off of that. Clean exchange by Pine to Styles, and another big play for the Irish.
Everything about this offense is designed to play in weather just like I think they'd play every game in this weather if you gave them the option. Pine puts Tyree up the middle, and Tyree picks up 9.
When you have this team, you embrace these conditions. And I love talking to Jared Patterson yesterday. Coach Freeman talked about, hey, you can't be tough if you're cold. Wear what you need to wear. We asked Patterson. He says no sleeves on the offensive line. They got no sleeves on. And they're getting after this BC defensive front. He looks good, doesn't he?
Sure does. Freeman told Zora at the beginning of the game, no such thing as a cold, tough guy.
That's it.
He's got the hood up over there on the Notre Dame sideline. Here goes Drew Pine on the roll, trying to throw a touchdown, but that pass is bobbled and then dropped. It's Batson who had an opportunity for it. Jones as well was there, and the football lands in the snow. And you mentioned Jarrett Patterson. 0 sacks allowed on over 1,500 pass blocking snaps. 0 sacks allowed. Tremendous.
It's really amazing. It's an amazing statistic because sometimes sacks just kind of happen almost by accident. Might not even be a fault of yours, but he's been incredible as a protector, as a run blocker, and maybe most importantly, as a leader for this Notre Dame offensive line. They've embraced his leadership, and they followed it.
Tight end sneak with a little surprise. Here goes Audric Estime in for the touchdown. How about a snow angel?
I'm sure Tommy Rees has been dying to call that thing. So much success with the tight end sneak. Even on a snowy, cold day. Let's let the tight end hand it to the runner. He's awfully good down here. Doesn't matter who hands him the ball. Estime is going to find the end zone. Love it. Great compliment to a player that's been so good for him all year long.
And Marcus Freeman said, I love the tight end sneak, but what I want is some variety off of it. Can you give me a little variety off that call? There's your variety. 44-0. The handoff from Mitchell Evans. The touchdown from Audric Estime. Irish are cruising. Tomorrow night, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs head west to take on Justin Herbert, and the Chargers can't get this kind of weather out west. Coverage begins 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock with Football Night in America.
Look at this. How good is this? It's like you're 10 years old in the backyard playing.
You got Houston Griffith there with the hold. Yoakum send it deep and into the end zone it will go. How about this number, though? Rush yards today. Notre Dame 261, and it's been all three of their running backs. Boston College 6.
Yeah. If there's a 257-yard rushing yard differential midway through the third quarter, then I can predict who's winning the game.
No kid. And it has been musical chairs this season for Boston College and that offensive line, just trying to figure it out. 8 different starting offensive line combinations. Only played the same O-line twice this year. They lost 4 key guys from last season. They have 1 guy coming back in Mahogany. He tears his ACL over the summer. So they will try to run it behind that offensive line, getting some good push here, and that's Pat Garwo with a nice pickup. So this is that O-line shuffle. Look at all the positions. 3 left tackles, 4 at that guard spot, 2 centers, 2 at the right guard, 4 at the right tackle spot. They've tried anything and everything, including moving defensive linemen over to the offensive line, just trying to make it happen.
The irony of this whole thing is Boston College has a tremendous tradition and history of great offensive linemen. It's like Notre Dame in that way. It's part of the identity of their program.
There's Garwo, and not much there.
And Jack, they had so many good players last year. Really good offensive line across the board, but through graduation, guys playing in the NFL, the injuries to the really good players this year, it's just tough. And this goes back a long way. Since they started the draft, Notre Dame and Boston College, big-time players, first-round picks as offensive linemen. And the story of today has been Notre Dame has continued that tradition, and BC, at least for this year, has not.
3rd and 3. Here's Moorhead, swing it out. It's Zay Flowers. This time he does catch it. Now Zay Flowers breaks a tackle, and he will pick up a first down for Boston College. And we have got a player down on the field for Notre Dame, and that's Cam Hart, who is slow back up to his feet. So that Boston College offensive line, you mentioned it, there's the 2021 group, and they were terrific. 3 of them made NFL rosters. And then preseason, your coach was even saying it, Coach Hafley, we felt pretty good about the group that we had coming back, and it was one injury after another. So you had to get creative, and you move a guy like Jackson Ness from D-line over to O-line, and the same goes for Alec, just trying to get some bodies over there. And you're saying, we had flu. We had some flu symptoms hit the team this week. Guess what position group it hit the hardest?
Offensive line.
Offensive line.
And again, to be so good last year, upholding that BC tradition, and to be decimated like they have, it really becomes a struggle. It's hard to make an inch.
Handoff, and that's Garwo again, and maybe got a half a yard.
Identity is such an important word when you're building a program and building a football team. What's the identity of the team? Notre Dame, pretty clear. Offensive line, tight ends, physical, downhill, north-south. You know, go get the quarterback, control the line of scrimmage on defense. And BC has a similar identity. But when you don't have those guys up front, it's hard to really, you know, control the line of scrimmage and have the identity that you want. And that's what we're seeing. We've seen it all year long. It's been a struggle for these guys.
That was Maris Leofow trying to time up the snap count perfectly. See if we got movement offensively.
Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's Jack Conley, the right tackle that left his stance early.
Jack, you know what's been a heck of a deal for us is we've had these chain markers, these electronic chain markers all year long. And sometimes I wonder, you know, why do we have them? Hey, we have them for days like this. You know, because now we can see that it's 2nd and 14. You see that, Jack? Makes a big difference.
Something like that, yeah.
Cuts through that snow, doesn't it?
The ball is at the 35. I'm pretty sure. 2nd and 14.
Just try to cut it in half here.
First time out. Boston College, 30 seconds.
When you get behind the chains like this in conditions like this, you ain't going to make 14 on this play. So try to cut it in half. Try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands to try to make it third manageable. And that's really what you're trying to do here for Boston College. Just string some positive plays together as best you can. Obviously, it's tough sledding to come back and win this ball game, but you want to build on something. You want to see how your team responds. You want to see how your young quarterback responds. Give him a chance to do that. Try to get a positive play here. Get yourself in third manageable and see what happens. And don't let that guy get going.
Got going right at the end of that first half for the sack to give him the record at the University of Notre Dame. 2nd and 14, Moorhead trying to find a receiver, and he's able to. That's George Takis, who's sliding down, and now Moorhead is back up to his feet in pain. That was Riley Mills, who got a hit on him.
Reflective of what we've been talking about, this ball comes out really quickly, and Moorhead gets drilled again. You love his poise, you love his composure. What I love most is his toughness.
BC 4 for 9 on third down. Here's Moorhead. Fires this ball, and this pass is caught down the sideline, able to bring it in. It's Johnson. Incredible catch in these conditions.
How about going after Benjamin Morrison? He's single coverage out there on the left-hand side. They just run a go route. There's no safety help. It's good coverage. It's tight. Moorhead delivers a strike on the back shoulder. Johnson, great body control in these conditions to go up and pluck the ball and secure it. Big time throw and catch, their best play of the day.
And Isaiah Foskey was shaken up, walking behind the BC offense, and took himself over to the sideline, now on the bench, getting some attention. Moorhead back to the air. He's going to instead scramble with it, and that's Maris Leofau, who will just push him over into the BC sideline. See if we can figure out what happened to Isaiah Foskey.
Foskey was trying to go speed to power and push Trapillo back into the quarterback. Trapillo was up to the task. Looks like he might have stepped on a foot and turned his ankle a little bit there.
Notre Dame bringing pressure, and BC will run straight through it. That's Pat Garlow, who's going to set up a 3rd and short for BC.
BC's got to take advantage of this opportunity here. You got 3rd and short, certainly 4-down territory. You'd like to see them run the ball a couple times and see if they can create some movement up front to convert this thing and keep this drive alive.
You see big Chris Smith checking into the center of that Notre Dame defense. Pressure comes and pressure gets home. Big hit put on Xavier Watts from his safety spot cleanly into the backfield, and he dropped Moorhead for the sack.
Hey, Xavier Watts got an opportunity to play last week, took advantage of it. He's taking advantage of it again right here. He's aligned over the bunch. He's a free rusher off the outside. BC doesn't have an answer. If you don't have enough guys to block when the ball's got to come out, Moorhead didn't see him. Watts cashes in. Made 8 tackles last week against Navy. A big sack here today. He played a little offense in training camp as well. A versatile guy who's starting to show up as this season has gone on.
Loss of 10 sets up a 4th and long. We got that play clock winding down.
Delay a game.
It hit.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
4th and longer.
And really, it's the reason I said maybe run it. You know, it's third and a long 1 or 2 yards. You know it's going to be 4-down territory. Maybe hammer it a couple times and see if you can create some movement. Decide to throw it. They get sacked. Then they get the delay. Situation changes dramatically.
So 4th and 16 now. Moorhead just trying to get a pass away and can't. It's Adam and Lola. Justin got home for a sack. One more for this Notre Dame defense. "29 dropbacks for Moorhead, 4 times sacked, 4 hits, 6 hurries. Freeman said he wanted to heat him up. He's done just that. And how about the FIFA World Cup begins tomorrow in Qatar, and on Monday the young stars of Team USA, they make their debut against Gareth Bale in Wales. Catch it in Spanish on Telemundo and streaming on Peacock. And Blake Grupe, remember, All-State in Missouri in football and football. Soccer player he was. And a big pickup for the Irish. Here goes Mayer around the outside and a good gain on first down. And we saw Moorhead take himself into the tent during the break. Looked like he was shaken up. Phil Jerkovic, who was the starter, a 3-year starter, is not active today. So the backup would be Matthew Reevy, redshirt sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio. One more time. Here is Michael Mayer, and he's still moving forward.
Tommy Rees has done such a good job getting the ball to Mayer so many different ways this year. Shows his versatility running that fly sweep. You like it, want to do it again.
And he goes over 2,000 career receiving yards. 13th Irish player to do that. They just put it up on the Jumbotron, so that's exactly what Tommy Rees was trying to do, and you heard the crowd give him a cheer on his way back over to the sideline. 2nd and 4. Here's Logan Diggs, and Diggs is well into the backfield. And that BC defense, and Jackson, Amari Jackson, makes the stop.
Yeah, we talked to Jeff Halfley the other day. He told the team 2 or 3 weeks ago that he's grading one thing. I'm grading effort. I'm grading how hard we play. I'm grading coaches and players on that. So we see this here from BC. Certainly not their day. They've been overmatched in so many different ways. But this group still battling, still scratching, still clawing, and still fighting. Credit to the staff and to these young men.
And that will be the conclusion of the third quarter. This is a South Bend Saturday. Snow falling in every direction all over campus, and Notre Dame loves it. And aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. You got the snow blowers out during the third quarter break, and they were blowing off the end zones, just trying to let people know where it actually is to score a touchdown. I think that's a good idea right there.
I think it's a heck of an idea.
Here's Pine on the roll, and he has a man. It's complete to Matt Salerno again. Has the touchdown. Had a nice punt return, and then he muffed the punt. Now Salerno gets his day going again.
Despite the muff punt, this guy is a sneaky good player. Made a huge catch against Ohio State in the opener. It just seems like every time he gets an opportunity, he cashes in with it. Good job getting him out in space there. He's got a little wiggle out in space on his run after catch. Notre Dame still going. Tommy Rees keeping the pedal down.
And Tommy Rees always talked about Salerno as a run blocker, how gritty he was in the run blocking game, earning opportunities like that to grab a football on senior day. And here goes the run game again, but the BC defense rises to the occasion, and that's Cam Arnold who made the tackle.
Cam's one of their best defensive players, just a really active guy. And, you know, for these guys on the BC front, it's tough sled now. It's a little bit of a mismatch up front. The conditions are what they are. You're down 44. You're in the fourth quarter, but they continue to dig in and fight. Credit to these guys. A good stop there.
Tough sledding was a pretty perfect description there by you. 2nd and 11. And this is Deion Colsey, who lost the football and just dives on top of it. But lost a whole bunch of yardage in the process.
This has been a play that's been effective for them, and they've done a good job handling it throughout. Ball a tick high. Colsey can't corral it. He makes a good decision at the end of this down just to get on it. In fact, it's an incomplete pass. Is exactly right. Just like that shovel pass, anytime you do that, when the ball leaves the quarterback's hands like it does, it's not a handoff. So that certainly works to Notre Dame's benefit.
So it sets up a 3rd and 11. Here's Pine, handoff. It's Logan Diggs, who makes one man miss. Now he's carrying another defender and picking up that first down. That's Bryce Steele.
You know, Diggs is a guy who's known as kind of the versatile guy. He's a good receiver. He's good out in space, but don't be fooled. He's a big physical runner as well. He demonstrates it here. He gets hit. His power, strength in his lower body allows him to maintain that balance and finish forward.
Here's Pine. It's Estime trying to gain the corner. He's able to. Now he's going to lower that shoulder and pick up even more yards at the tail end of it.
Yeah, and conversely, Estime is viewed as the guy who's the power downhill guy, and he shows us he can bounce it. He does this a lot down in the red zone, gets clogged up inside, shows his lateral quickness and his speed to capture the edge, and at the end of the down, he's always falling forward.
Heavy formation on a 2nd and 1. And Pine is going to throw from that formation. Rolling out, and he's trying to find a wide receiver. That's his tight end. Make it his fullback. That's Davis Sherwood, who's falling backward trying to make the catch and just beyond his reach.
Obviously, they're such a strong running team. You get in this 2nd and 1 type situation, play action can always be good because you know it's going to be 4-down territory. Pine wanted to give Sherwood a chance, just a little bit too much. I expect run here.
I expect you to be right. 3rd and 1. There is that run. It's Estime, but the BC defense said no. They stuffed him. It'll set up a 4th and 1.
They expect it too.
Yep.
Whenever you get in these situations where you know it's going to be 4-down territory, it seems to me that it always makes sense to run it. You want to run it. Get yourself closer, make the 4th down that much more manageable. And that's certainly what Notre Dame did, but we expected it. BC expected it. They played it, and they played it well.
So offense remains on the field. 11:30 in the game. 4th down and 1. Irish up 44-zip. And they'll take a timeout. And it appears that Michael Mayer's day may be finished, but how about this guy? Inside this stadium, Notre Dame Stadium, very well may be his last game on this field. Touchdowns, receptions, yards. Greatest tight end to ever play at Notre Dame?
Well, he certainly is up there. The numbers say that he is, and there have been a lot of great ones here for a long time. But, you know, one thing that John McNulty said, McNulty, the offensive coordinator at BC, had been the tight end coach at Notre Dame the last couple of years. He said when they first got Michael Mayer, he was all football all the time. Sometimes when you start a meeting, hey, you try to be loose, you tell a story, you tell a joke. He said Mayer would be sitting there in the back of the room with his arms crossed like, what are these clowns wasting my time? We're going to get to the football. And he said they were always trying to loosen him up a little bit. But, you know, as he's telling me the story, I'm thinking to myself, it seems like all the great players that I've been around have had a real similar attitude. You know, they don't suffer fools wisely. They don't want to hear the joke. They don't want to hear the story. Give me some ball stuff that can help me now. And that's the attitude that he's had since he's a freshman, and it's certainly paid off. And John McNulty had a big impact on him, as is Coach Parker now. He's been well coached here at Notre Dame, and he's been as productive as any who's ever played at this fine institution.
Amen. They always said CEO energy, all business. And all those records he holds, remember, he's done it in just 3 years' time. For my money, greatest tight end this university has ever seen. 4th and 1. And try to work the middle, and that is stuffed by Boston College. It's Chris Tyree on the carry. Akpala was there, as well as De Palma, to stuff it. 44-0. Notre Dame on top. Time now for Players on the Rise, brought to you by Hyundai. How about a true freshman?
He is on the rise. This is Benjamin Morrison. 3 interceptions today. Watch the acceleration and the burst when the ball's in the air. Watch how he tracks this. Eyes comfortably come back, and he high points the ball. And then just always aware the ball gets tipped, tips it over.
Magnetic this season. The combination with like Downs and Drake May. Electric for a North Carolina team set to host Georgia Tech coming your way in just over 15 minutes. But what a day it's been so far in college football. The nation's #1, Georgia, in cold weather conditions, taking on Chris Rodriguez in Kentucky, and that Georgia D traveling.
Yeah, Georgia D traveling, but Kentucky's D has been playing great this first half as well, holding Georgia, one of the top offenses, to only 9 points.
Second quarter, Will Levis intercepted by Keely Ringo.
Keely Ringo, one of the best backs and one of the best defensive backs in college football. Notice how he undercut the route. It was obviously underthrown. This is a huge play for the defense because it's a huge momentum shift and yardage change.
3 field goals for Georgia, and they lead 9-0. Meantime, #2 Ohio State taking on Maryland. C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's averaged 16 yards per catch this season. This game, so far, 3 catches, 44 yards.
Travion Henderson, one of the healthy backs for Ohio State.
And they've had injuries at back. Travion Henderson has missed a few games. Mayan Williams is out this game. He's missed a few games. It's good to see them back healthy. They'll need one or both of those guys next week.
But credit Maryland here, late second quarter. Talia Tagovailoa to C.J. Dupree.
And he threw a near interception 2 plays before, but this play, they line up in a goal line formation. Tight end Dupree lines up, sneaks out, touchdown.
Ohio State down at the half on ABC. Michigan, Illinois, Blake Corum.
18 carries, 108 yards, but this would be huge, a knee injury early in the game.
He went to the tunnel afterwards. He did return, but only played 1 snap in the second half. So a major story with the Ohio State game next Saturday. Late third quarter, Chase Brown gives Illinois the lead.
And he's one of the best backs in college football, but Michigan's defense is #1 in the nation. They hadn't given up a third quarter touchdown all season long. That was #1.
17-13, late fourth quarter, J.J. McCarthy. Colston Loveland had him, but he missed him. So Michigan kicks the field goal with 3:19 to go. They get it back under a minute to play. McCarthy incomplete, but PI is called.
PI, and that was a good call. It was somewhat of a bang-bang play, but they needed that call. 47 seconds left. Now it's in the hands of in the feet of your kicker.
Yes, 13 seconds to go. Jake Moody, 4 for 4 on field goals. Michigan survives 19-17. TCU going to Waco to take on Richard Reese and Baylor.
This Baylor offense was running the ball all over TCU, especially early on. That first drive, 56 rushing yards.
TCU down 8. Amari DiMercato takes it in. 2-point game, so they go for 2. Acho, what did you see here?
I saw an overthrown ball by Max Duggan, but a ball that DiMercato believes he should have caught. Miscommunication. You've got about a minute left in the game. 3 timeouts. Are you going to be able to stop it?
Yeah, TCU forces Baylor to punt it. Here's Duggan on 3rd and 1 near midfield. Big first down. Later in the drive, 30 seconds to go. No timeouts. They run it to DiMercato.
Smart play. You practice this all season long. No timeouts. You think you need about 15 seconds to do hurry-up field goal. You get your entire offense. They run off the field. Your entire special teams unit. They run on. You run your execution to perfection. It seems stressful, but it's not. 6 seconds. Easy work.
Griffin Kell for the win to keep the perfect season alive, and he's got it. TCU in Waco survives 29-28. What a way to welcome you inside our college football studio. Sam Acho, Kevin Connors here. You played special teams. I want you to walk us through those final 22 seconds again. What did you see?
Every week in practice, usually Friday on your last walkthrough, you'll practice something called hurry-up field goal, meaning we have no timeouts left, and we need 15 seconds to run everyone else on the field and run all other guys off the field. They usually teach the offensive players, you run straight diagonal across.
The hype of this Marcus Freeman era. After it looked tough, it looked rough, people are saying certain things after the slow start. He has righted this ship, and this looks exactly like the football team he was trying to build ever since he took over.
No question about it. And a credit to him, a credit to his staff, and a credit to the guys they have recruited, the guys in this program to respond to that early season adversity.
Handoff, and nothing there. This time it's Jordan Botello who made the tackle for Notre Dame.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Marcus Freeman got a visit by his old coach from Ohio State, Jim Tressel. And Tressel said, hey, to go from point A to point B, where do you want to go? It's not a straight diagonal line. It's going to get a little rocky. There are going to be some divots. And Notre Dame has fought through some of those divots, and really they're coming out the other end.
On 3rd and 8. More head, more pressure. They're just trying to get rid of that football. They're going to rule it a fumble. He's trying to get that hand moving forward, but he's getting hit in the process. It was Rubio who stuck him. He had Ahrensberger arriving as well, and it was Al Golden that said Gabriel Rubio, one of the biggest risers on this defense throughout the season.
Again, another one of those backup players who gets an opportunity, and they come up big. Ahrensberger, the German, making plays. Rubio inside. The atmosphere, the environment for the quarterback has been a challenge all day long. A tough day for Moorhead.
Longman on to punt. This is a wobbly punt into the snow. It's going to settle inside that 30-yard line. Well, the fans have been loving it. Snow coming down. They are used to this kind of action. They're having themselves a day. And so, too, are the Irish.
We're not usually ones that like to toot our own horn, but we're happy to let others do it. Maybe just a few more to drive the message home. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, the first ever all-electric SUV to win Motor Trend's SUV of the Year. Hyundai, it's your journey.
Vicks VapoStick. Strong, soothing vapors help comfort your loved ones for chest, neck, and back. It goes on clear, no mess. Just soothing comfort. Try Vicks VapoStick.
every day. Wake up.
Over the past 2 years, Jersey Mike's fundraiser for Feeding America has been a huge success. Their efforts help provide more than 75 million meals when people needed it most. But there's still work to be done.
Thank you, Claire. This year, we'd like to invite you back to Jersey Mike's for another special weekend. Come in this Saturday and Sunday, where 20% of all sales will be donated to Feeding America, helping families in need.
Together, we always make a difference.
Never done that before.
An incredible LPGA season has all led to this. As the best women in golf battle to become champion. The CME Group Tour Championship on NBC and Peacock.
Thank you, seniors, for everything you've done for us. I appreciate you guys taking me in as a young pup and showing me what hard work and dedication is. I want to give a special shout out to my two big bros, Josh Lugg and J. Pat. I appreciate you guys showing me what the true Notre Dame offensive line standard is every day. I love you guys a lot and appreciate you again.
It's the right tackle, who I think is going to be great heading into the future, talking about the interior studs for Notre Dame. And Lugg, 6th season, played every position on that Notre Dame offensive line. A great career that he's had. And try to hand off directly behind that O-line right here, and that is stopped up quickly. Estime with the carry, and of course with Patterson, he's switching to guard this season. This is a guy who's originally committed to Arizona State. Notre Dame didn't enter the picture until a month before signing day. Didn't even have a position coach yet for the offensive line. He said, I just experienced how the offensive line and the people cared about each other inside that room, and it was enough. So maybe he was indirectly recruited by Harry Hiestand, who really built that culture.
And I love what Blake said. Those two guys showed me the standard of what Notre Dame offensive line is all about. And that's the standard that Patterson saw when he came on his recruiting visit. It's been that way for a long time. One of the best players I've ever been around is Zach Martin. He was part of that. Quentin Nelson, all these guys going back a long, long way. They established this standard. And Patterson learned it when he got here, and now he's teaching it to guys like Fisher. Josh Lugg, been here 6 years. He's been a part of that thing. Show him the standard. It's really, really important to have those kind of examples. And I love what you said about Patterson, too. You know, All-American center. And Zeke Correll kind of comes on in the spring when Patterson's hurt. And they move him to guard. He embraces it, and that's going to help him as an NFL player going forward. The fact that he's played both positions. Oftentimes in the draft, if there's an interior offensive lineman, if he's a guard in college, they say, has he ever snapped? Well, he can tell them, yeah, I snapped. I played center, and now I play guard. I got it on tape, so going to serve him well going forward. Outstanding career here at Notre Dame. Love how he's showing all these younger guys what it means to be a Notre Dame offensive lineman.
And for these three running backs behind that offensive line, 34 carries, over 240 yards, and 4 touchdowns in this game. So there they are, enjoying themselves on a snowy South Bend Saturday.
Hey, thanks for helping me out.
Of course. You can easily get helpful customer service over the phone or on the Progressive app, pretty much anywhere. Even at the library or the coffee shop. Get great customer support at the park or at this coffee shop.
Why would we go to a different coffee shop?
Mobile order for J Money.
Thank you.
So is one of these places going to be my car again, or?
Right. Even at your car. Come on, I saw you eyeing these scones earlier. Huh? All
right.
You get it.
The holidays were lonely for the Yeti, but after saving big with early Black Friday at Amazon, Yeti became more social. Shop legendary deals at Amazon.
We all have a purpose in life, a why. Maybe it's perfecting that special place that you want to keep in the family, or passing down the family business. or giving back to the places that inspire you. No matter your purpose, at PNC Private Bank, we will work with you every step of the way to help you achieve it. So let us focus on the how. Just tell us, what's your why?
That is definitely him.
Dude, that's just a guy taking a little break with a peppermint frosty.
I gotta ask him. Hello.
Hi.
Mind if I sit? Okay.
When it's Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new Peppermint Frosty.
What are you doing here? I've got this feeling we'll meet again.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Reigning World Cup champion Michaela Schifrin continues her pursuit of a 5th overall World Cup title as the Alpine Skiing World Cup heads to Killington, Vermont next Saturday and Sunday on NBC and Peacock.
And next Saturday, Southern, Grambling, and the Bands are back for one of the biggest games in HBCU football. 49th Annual Bayou Classic next Saturday, 2 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. And do not miss the halftime show, the Battle of the Bands, as good as it gets. Notre Dame Band enjoying themselves for a senior day for some of these band members as well. Handoff here. It's Cam Barfield. And he'll pick up just a few.
Jack, the Battle of Bands is something else when Grambling plays Southern.
Oh, yeah.
You said it can't be missed. And how about just HBCU down there? Deion Sanders, we mentioned him before. The job that he's done at Jackson State, drawing a little attention to that great brand of football. It's fun to see.
Another handoff here. It's Barfield again. He'll pick up that first down. The Irish will head to Southern California next week. In USC, big game coming up with UCLA. That's 8 Eastern time tonight. That's a tough test heading on the road for Notre Dame.
It sure is, but really impressed by Notre Dame today. You know, you talk about the lessons learned over the course of the season at different times when they had some success. It seemed like they didn't handle it that well. They didn't play with that same edge. Happened last week in the second half against Navy, and this game set up that way a little bit. The 3-7 BC Eagles coming in here, they're banged up. Easy to kind of look past them on a cold day and start thinking about that USC game to finish the season. But they were locked in. They played for 60 minutes. Now you put this one to bed and you go get ready for that next challenge out there, because it will be a big one.
Another give for Barfield, and Coach Freeman has used that analogy all year that it can be a bumpy road sometimes, on that road to where you want to go. And he referenced that Navy game. There's games earlier this season, Marshall, Stanford, where they play like that and they wind up losing late. They figure out a way to get the job done. Point of emphasis all this week to explode in the second half. Doesn't matter the first, explode in the second half, and they have finished this game exactly how their head coach described.
Jack, life in ball is a lot about lessons learned. And a lot of lessons learned for this Notre Dame team over the course of the season, for their coaching staff and for their players. And they're certainly better because of it. And sometimes you grow because of those adversities, and I think today is the best example of it. Being able to keep the hammer down against this BC team for 60 minutes is a big step for this program. And then you get ready for the Trojans.
So 4th and 1, and BC is going to keep the offense out there. And they'll pick up that first down. The give goes to Barfield. And it was so fun, too, catching up with Brian Mason in the hallway yesterday. We got him kind of walking right out of our meeting. We walked in, we're like, man, we got to just stop you for a second and catch up. I really enjoyed listening to his philosophy about rushing the punter. And even if you don't get there, which they have gotten there, I mean, he has been sensational as a special teams coordinator. So even if you don't get there, sometimes you force a high punt, you wind up getting better returns as a result of that pressure that you created. Been around a long time, he knows exactly what he's doing.
No doubt. And at so many different points in this season, those blocked punts were the difference in a game. Allowed Notre Dame to win the game. They got 2 of them one week. They get 5 in consecutive weeks. It's unbelievable, like nothing I've ever seen. And then guys on your team want to be a part of it. Starting players want to be on that punt rush team. And the dynamic is so positive for your team. Credit Danny Longman, the BC punter, for getting the ball out there quickly today and not allowing this Notre Dame punt rush team to go get another one.
That was Jalen Sneed bringing the boom. Another true freshman. Penalty marker came out.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 47. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
So Sneed got the shot, but first, a snag of that face mask.
Senior Greg Maley checks in for the Irish.
So fun to see how so many of these young guys respond with their first playing opportunity. They're excited to be out there and just be a part of this thing. They won't soon forget.
And off here, and once again, that's Jalen Sneed, who is just trying to prove to everybody in that Notre Dame building, Freeman, Al Golden and company, that he's the future, and they believe it.
Hey, he was Mr. Football in South Carolina. He's got a lot of talent. Marcus Freeman's coaching effort, too, for 60 minutes. Gotta love what he sees. What a great day for the Irish.
A snowy senior day. You can't beat it. That's a good way to tattoo it right there in your memory, isn't it? 44-0.
A snowy senior day and a memorable senior day for everybody here at Notre Dame, and a rough day for the BC Eagles, but they've handled a lot of adversity themselves over the course of the season. They continue to battle and fight, and they're going to be good days ahead for those guys, but there's no doubt today was all about the Fighting Irish. They were dominant in all 3 phases.
And Zora is standing by with Marcus Freeman.
Coach, at the beginning of this game, you talked about honoring these seniors. You do it with the shutout. What kind of focus did you see the entire way through?
Really, it was awesome to see the way they came out the second half. They came out the first half and did a really good job, but the challenge was to come out the second half and play with the same intensity, and it was good to see them do it.
Still some games left, but there's been so many twists and turns this season. What have you found that this group is made of?
They're resilient, and then that's what this university attracts, resilient people that no matter what the outcome of a situation occurs, they'll continue to battle, and that's why I love being a head coach here, and I love this place. I love these kids.
Flurry's coming down right now. There was a storm in the middle of the game, accumulation on the field. How much fun is this? Football weather.
Yeah, listen, it's a little bit chilly, but it's a lot of fun. They were big kids. They're out there being big kids, and we got a chance to get everybody in the game today and all the seniors, and that means a lot. And for them to play their last game and get a chance to get on this field, it means a lot.
Snow Angels for you?
No, you won't see me doing Snow Angels. I'll leave that for these guys and then my kids.
Thanks, Coach.
Good to see you.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. No cold, tough guys. That's how he started the game. He was hilarious talking about the cold weather yesterday, and they could not have performed any better in these conditions.